Welcome to the 2023 State of the City show for Grand Prairie, Texas. We're so excited today to have two of the greatest guys in Grand Prairie. They're both very important gentlemen. And we have the mayor, Ron Jensen, and our city manager, Steve Dye. Welcome, gentlemen.
Good morning. Welcome to you.
Yes, it is going to be a great show because there are great things happening in Grand Prairie, correct?
There sure are.
Yes,
Lots
ma'am.
of things happening.
Yes, Mayor, get us started with the great things.
Well, Councilmember Clemson, every time I think things are going to slow down and we're not going to get anything, things pop up.
Yes.
Since our last State of the City, my goodness, Bass Pro decided to come. Andretti's indoor karting. Big shots. And just the other day, we were all surprised. Steak and L's coming back, and where are they coming to? The first place in Texas? Grand Prairie, Texas. We have a lot of other things going on, but those are three big announcements just real recently. The 161 corridor is a hot corridor. It's filling up. We don't have to sell it anymore. It's selling itself. It reached a tipping point a few years ago, and it's just filling up, and our sales tax revenue shows that, and many things haven't even been opened yet, and it's going to continue to grow and give our citizens choices that they didn't have before.
Yes, Mayor, and our city has grown as well, hasn't it?
Yes, our last census, we're right at 200,000, give or take a little bit, 200,000. We're the 17th largest city in the state of Texas, and we're the 126th largest city in the United States. Folks, that's big. When I'm invited to things in Washington, it's the top 150 cities, and I can participate in the top 150 cities in the United States. We're a big city.
We are, and the fact that people are choosing to come to Grand Prairie rather than us begging them to come to Grand Prairie, I think that is a turning point for our city.
It is. Of course, you were part of the dream when we kicked it off back in 2014 to invest in Epic Central. Started with Epic Waters, the Epic Playground Adventures. The citizens approved that. Epic Waters just celebrated their 5th year of being open. It's interesting, within a month of each other. IKEA celebrated their 5th year of being open within a month of Epic Waters being open.
That's amazing.
So that's kind of what got the ball rolling, and here we are.
Yes, and Mayor, I love the way Epic is developing. Of course, we're so proud of that. And then we have future spots in Grand Prairie that may be developed as well. Of course they will be, now that we have the frontage roads on I-30 and I-20, correct?
Yes, this Steak and L that's coming in Bennigan's, will be, in my opinion, the first big thing that's going in along I-30. Steve and I cannot disclose the location yet. We have confirmed the location. That's the first thing we did when we saw that Dallas Morning News article. I even was asked by WFAA, Mayor, is this real? And all I can say is we have confirmed with the landowner that yes, Steak and L's coming, but he will not disclose, nor will the Steak and L people disclose the exact location yet. We will be able to, I would say, within the next 60 days. But it is along the I-30 corridor, along the frontage roads. Would not have been possible had it not been for getting those frontage roads in.
Yes, sir. And you know, the whole city is celebrating that, but especially the north side of town in District 1, especially.
That's right. Now all I got to do is get them a grocery store up there.
That's right. And that will happen. That will happen eventually. I'm looking forward to that. And Steve Dye, you're doing a great job. You have taken over the city manager's position and keep moving us forward every day. So give us some of your insight on what's happening with the state of the city.
Well, as you all have alluded to and mentioned, I mean, we're a very large city now. We're over 200,000, 81 square miles. Our collective annual budget's almost $500 million. We have 1,800 city employees. So there's a lot of exciting things going on, and you all have talked a little bit about the paradigm shift in the economic development. Now those entertainment venues and restaurants are coming to us. We're not having to go out and beg them to come to Grand Prairie. They want to come to Grand Prairie. So it is an exciting time, but I think equally exciting is our emphasis on redevelopment. You know, we just came out with several new programs to help our small businesses succeed and open in our city. We've just now come up with a new program, our retail redevelopment program, that is really going to hopefully address some of our blighted strip centers and get those older centers in our older neighborhoods looking a little bit nicer. You know, regardless of where you live, you should always have a clean, safe place to shop. Public safety is still doing really, really well. We are one of the safest cities, large cities in the country. Our crime rate is equivalent to that of about Plano, and certainly we're an older city in some parts, which does create more challenges. So very proud of our police department, not only from a safety perspective, but as they continue to engage with our community and really emphasize the community policing philosophy, which is important to all of us, that everybody feels to be a part of the community, that everybody can have access to that same quality of life. And then our fire department, you know, we've got that sought after ISO 1 rating that helps all of our homeowners insurance be a little bit less expensive. But down there at 287 and 360, as we've talked about before, we've branded that area Southgate. Over time, we're probably going to have 30 to 50,000 more people moving into that area over the next 30 years or so. So we're really working hard from the staff level with those developers to make sure that those master plan communities are very nice, that meets the high quality of all of our other new neighborhoods in town. And we already have plans to open Fire Station 11. They're at 287 and 360, which will extend that ISO 1 rating to the new residents that are now building in our ETJ, our extraterritorial jurisdiction, which over time will become part of our city. So those citizens down there will enjoy those same great city services that all of our other citizens currently enjoy.
We have so many wonderful amenities that our citizens can enjoy in Grand Prairie. And of course we say live life grand, and we can. And we love living life grand in Grand Prairie. What else do you think that our citizens would like to know, Mayor?
Well, since you mentioned North Grand Prairie, I thought I ought to mention what's going on at our entertainment district around Lone Star Park. AEG runs Texas Trust CU Theater. It originally was Next Stage years ago, and then Nokia and Verizon, now it's Texas Trust. So they're renewing their lease to stay there another 9 years. The baseball field, the old QT Park, the minor league baseball, we're transitioning it to a Major League Soccer. Steve and I will be traveling down to Houston later on this month in March to visit and be there for the draft, the cricket draft. AJ has invited us to go, so we'll be playing cricket at that stadium this July. And then if you keep up with the news, the racetrack has been in the news recently because there's been some bills filed in Austin to bring casino gambling to the state of Texas. Now, we're not planning on it passing this legislative session because Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick can stop most anything he wants to, and he said he's not interested in that bill this time. However, the bills that have been filed give us a snapshot of what could happen in the future. Everybody thinks casino gambling will come to the state of Texas sometime in the future. Whether you want that or not, it will come. And the bills that have been passed allow the racetracks kind of priority to apply for the license and to get casino gambling. The Chickasaw Nation has already approved the language. And listen to this, folks. In order to complete the deal, they have to step up and be willing to spend new dollars, not old dollars, new dollars, $2 billion, new investment in the facilities in order to get it. The Chickasaws have said they approve that language. So someday in the future, we could have a $2 billion project out there at Beltline and I-30. May not happen. I don't think it's going to happen this session. May happen in 2025. We'll just have to wait and see. Another thing that's happening in the kind of the north side, old north side, is the hospital has a new owner. They're doing some upgrades to it. We want a hospital there. I just don't want it to be in the top 5 most expensive in the state of Texas.
Yes.
And so we'll see what happens. It would help our turn rate on our ambulances if we had an emergency room there that could take some of our transports. It gets our ambulances back on the road faster. It helps our turn rate, helps us retain that gold standard that we have kept for 6 years in a row. So there are some neat things happening down south, as Steve was mentioning, what's going to happen down there, and some redevelopment and some new things happening up in the north side of town.
Yes, and Mayor, you know that spotlight has been on Epic Central, and it should be. That's what we're working on right now. But I believe, as you say, in the future, the spotlight is going to turn over to that I-30 and Beltline corridor, and you may have some things that you're working on behind the scenes that you can't reveal at this time, correct?
We do, I do, and you're aware of them, and we hope to be able to announce it this year. We're working on 2 things. We're working on something up there, and we're working something down south that we're this close to being able to announce. We hope to be able to announce it this year. Folks, we work on these deals, and sometimes we work on them for months, years. Sometimes things happen real quick, and because of the pandemic, things slowed down. Financing, borrowing money has changed. So here in the near future, we'll be able to announce some exciting things and it'll benefit everybody. And there's nothing wrong with us having 2 areas of fun places to do.
Yes.
One right there at the intersection of Beltline and I-30, and the other in our Epic Central area.
Absolutely, and we're going to have fun wherever we are in Grand Prairie because that's the kind of town we are. Steve Dye, what else do you want to add to the conversation today?
Well, great conversation so far, and a couple other projects that I want to mention is our downtown revitalization that is moving forward. So we hope to have the roadway reconstructed and open in late 25 or early 2026, which will be just 1 lane each way in the core of our main street downtown. And that'll make it much more walking friendly, pedestrian friendly, and hopefully bring a lot more commerce, retail, and restaurants to that area. So really excited about our downtown revitalization. And then the second project is one that a lot of people don't know about, which is our International Corridor project. We've been quietly working with our county commissioners and the city of Arlington on really revitalizing Pioneer 303, if you will, to make it a little bit more walkable, a little bit safer from a traffic standpoint, and really to try to renew and make some of that retail and those economic development opportunities in that corridor more viable and more exciting. So we are moving forward on that as well. So look for changes to come down off of Pioneer Parkway as well as on Main Street.
Yes, and I think our viewers would like to know a little bit more detail about like the roundabouts and about redirecting the truck traffic?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for asking. So this is a pretty complicated project because as many of the viewers know and as you all know, Main Street has been a state highway for years. And so the state is going to give that back to the city. It will no longer be a state highway. And so part of that process is we still have to allow for that through traffic and that truck traffic to get through our city. Well, we were blessed in the fact that we have Jefferson. So the truck traffic will be diverted to Jefferson, which has more lanes capable of handling more traffic. So it shouldn't be a burden to Jefferson because it can sustain that traffic. So on the far east side of our city, where Main Street and Jefferson come together, there'll be a very large roundabout which will push the through and heavy traffic to Jefferson. And then on the west side of our city, there'll be some lane reconfiguration that also pushes that traffic to Jefferson prior to reaching 161. The other cool thing that we're doing is we're going to have 2 or 3 roundabouts that are going to have art on top of them. Councilmember Clemson, you're on our art committee.
Yes.
So you and a couple of our other council members are really giving us input on not just making those roundabouts, but making them really a public art opportunity. So that's going to be really cool. And I can tell you all, and viewers, please don't get nervous. I was the chief of police in Colleyville when Colleyville put in their first roundabout. And I remember there was a lot of anxiety about roundabouts and a lot of people didn't want them. Well, after that one had been open for about 30 days, they wanted more roundabouts. So roundabouts actually beautify the space, but they make the traffic flow much more efficient, much less of a wait time, and the backup queuing is not near what it is in signalized intersections. So as you go through the future downtown corridor, you're not going to see those signal lights, you're going to see roundabouts at most of those intersections, which again, more beautiful, more aesthetically pleasing, and much more efficient for the movement of traffic. So really excited about it. It's going to be an entirely different look, which we know will bring a lot more economic development opportunities.
And we're working on that all the time, aren't we, as far as the development of that area?
Yes, ma'am, and as the mayor alluded to, I mean, some of these projects take years. We started on the Turnback Downtown Revitalization Project in 2017,
Yes.
and it got delayed slightly because of COVID, but we've pretty much kept that moving on the roadway piece, and now we're bringing in the developers to try to now get that Catalyst project. As you know, the city acquired the Calvary Baptist property, so that will be one of our Catalyst projects to bring some nice residential and hopefully some more commercial retail into that space. So we're trying to time that so when the roadway is open, that Catalyst project will be completed and it'll all kind of be rolled out at the same time.
Excellent. That sounds good. Mayor, I don't think our citizens all completely understand the need for the rooftops to bring in attractions that they all want, amenities. Would you explain that to us?
Well, everybody looks at a 5-mile radius, but folks, really, that's one of the things that was bogging us down. People didn't like our 5-mile radius. And so we purposefully talked to businesses that we're in the smack dab middle of 8 million people.
Yes.
We have I-30, I-20, 360, Loop 12, and then when the George Bush opened up, gave us access to hundreds and hundreds of acres of land. Companies like IKEA, Bass Pro, Andretti's even, they don't look at the 5-mile radius. We're a regional draw. But to get the amenities like the smaller restaurants like Olive Garden, Longhorn Steakhouse, Black Bear, they do still look at the 5-mile radius. So we had to get the rooftops, the counts up, and
Right.
that brings in a whole new demographic of people, young. Our granddaughter has a good friend that graduated from Arkansas with her. They moved down here. He works in the east side, she works in the west side, and they chose to move into one of our brand spanking new apartments. And I know apartments, no one likes apartments. We're slowing down on them. But folks, if the dirt is already zoned multifamily, there's nothing we can do about it.
Right.
And citizens don't see the apartments that we say no to, because Steve and I are working with one right now that wants to bring something forward, and we're telling them we can't approve it right now because it's a zoning change. Sometimes I wish they'd go ahead and bring it to us so we could say no and get it on the record that we said no, because they don't hear about the ones that Councilmember Lopez and I have talked to and talked out of coming to us.
Right.
Councilmember Hedden and I have talked to and told them not to come right now. The citizens don't see those because we stop them before they even get to the process.
And I'm going to defend you, Mayor and Council. You know, you guys take a lot of heat, like you said, sometimes for approving all of these apartments, but I'm going to reiterate what you said. If the land is already zoned multifamily, citizens, there's nothing council can do to stop it. They do a great job of making sure it's high quality. The good part about those apartments that did have that zoning, that did have to be approved, is that is part of what's helping attract this economic development, because it's giving us the density of population where now a lot of these restaurants and entertainment venues are coming here. So there is a benefit to that. Some of these projects we may not have gotten because we didn't have enough density and population. And so, you know, I think, you know, we're always optimistic in the city, but I want our citizens to know, you know, what our council can and cannot legally do, because I think you all are unfairly criticized. But I also want to mention this is happening everywhere in North Texas. As the mayor mentioned, 8 million people, out-of-state transplants moving here every day. We're a very popular area. So the challenges that we're seeing with traffic and population increase we're seeing all across our region. I talk to the other city managers on a weekly basis. They're having the same issues in their cities. So this is not a Grand Prairie specific issue. It's a North Texas issue.
Yeah,
Yes.
all the citizens have to do is drive down south on 360. You're going to have Grand Prairie on the left. You're going to have Arlington on the right. You go down a little further, you're going to have Mansfield. There's apartments all the way down that, because years ago, that 360 corridor was zoned with planned developments that included multifamily. And so we're all seeing it. North Texas, the North Texas region is one of the hottest regions in the United States for growth. People are coming here for jobs.
And we have the best location in the Metroplex, and now we have accessibility. So what a great time to live, work, and play in Grand Prairie, Texas. And Mayor, I have to throw in one more good amenity, is the Blue Goose Cantina, because I heard so many people were so excited that that was coming to Grand Prairie.
Well, I'd never heard about it and didn't even know anything about it. I think you and Dan ate at one
Yes,
the other day. I saw
yes.
your post, and you know, we loved Texas Roadhouse expanding
Yes.
and moving down, building their own building that they wanted to own. But then you have that vacant building there. What's it going to do? What's it going to be? Goodness, you kind of get nervous because there's some things that go in there without our approval. Another restaurant. See, people don't understand. We did not approve Blue Goose Cantina.
They wanted, yeah.
It was already zoned
Zoned.
that. But the problem is there's other things that building was zoned for that could have come in there. I'm not going to mention all the ones I didn't want to go in there, but you get the picture.
Yeah.
Less
and we were
desirable.
excited, less desirable. We were real excited when Blue Goose Cantina decided they've already changed it. Their iconic colors are white and blue. And of course, Rebecca loves anything that's white. And so then on down the road, the Black Bear Diner. It's a family-style restaurant. It's going to build down close to Texas Roadhouse. That's another restaurant going in along along I-20. The frontage roads along I-20. So that's going to give us quite a few restaurants along
yes.
that I-20 frontage road to give our citizens more choices, and it brings in tax dollars and
yes.
jobs.
And our neighbors that we've been going to their house for a long time.
Right. Like I said years ago in one of my State of the Cities, I remember it so well. I said, I'm going to have to put a sign up on I-20 heading west that said, turn around, stay and eat here.
Yes.
Before we had all the restaurants.
Right.
Now we have plenty of choices. Now they're filling up. You go down I-161 on a Friday evening, the parking lot's packed.
Full.
Yes.
All of them. And especially on Sunday morning, they're waiting at first watch. I mean, there's a lot of restaurants there are happy to be in Grand Prairie. More are coming. While I have a minute, I want to thank TxDOT for getting out of the box and even allowing cities like ours that have an old Main Street, but is part of the old Highway 80, 180 system, to even allow us to take it over and go from 4 lanes to 2 lanes. That's huge. It means so much to a city like ours.
Right.
Well, our mayor serves on our Regional Transportation
Right.
Commission. Miss Georgia, you serve on
COG.
on a COG committee. So thank you all for being involved with COG and those decisions that do affect us. But you know, you all take that extra time and effort to go be involved and go to those meetings, and that directly helps our city. So yeah, thank you all for all that you all do.
I remember going down to Austin for a Texas Transportation Committee meeting when they originally started talking about this turn back. Mayors on the committee were kind of shocked at first. What does this mean? We're going to have to take over the maintenance repair? Well, yes, we are. But only if we want to and if it's beneficial to our city. This is a great benefit to our city to be able to close it down, give us walkability. But that started a long time ago. Texas Transportation Committee had hearings on it and down in Austin. So it's a great thing for us.
It is, and Michael Morris has been a good friend and advisor for us as well.
He's the best.
He is indeed. Well, what I would like to do at this time, we are so blessed to have both of you gentlemen in leadership in the positions that you are in. And we know that you have been blessed with good families that support you. So tell us just briefly about your family, Steve.
Well, family's doing great. You know, without, you know, my beautiful wife, I could not have ever done what I've done professionally. It definitely takes that team and that support. So we have our health, thank goodness. Both of our daughters are grown and in public service, and that makes us very proud. And as you know, we have a new granddaughter, so we're spoiling her every chance we get. So
Yes.
God has blessed me professionally and us as a family beyond what we could have ever imagined, and we're just so thankful every day.
That's excellent. And Mayor, I know your family, but you tell us about them anyway.
Well, Rebecca and I are kind of like you and Dan. We've been married forever.
Yes.
We celebrated our 51st anniversary last year. She's with me today. People expect her to be with me. She goes everywhere with me. I go through the car wash some days later, and she's not with me. The guy looks, where's she at? You know. But Rebecca and I are blessed. 51 years. We have 3 kids, 4 grandkids. The youngest one's 8. They're all here close. We're getting together for lunch today to celebrate one of our daughter's birthdays. And we just, I can't thank my parents and Mr. and Mrs. Hanks enough for the opportunities they gave me to be what I am today. And the you sent me the video of your mother interviewing not only my mother and dad, but H. Wayne and Virginia Hanks,
Yes.
which those 4 people were such an have such an impact on my life. And one of the things my mama said at the end of that, and this was back in a long time ago, at the end of the meeting, she said, at the end of the taping, she said, everybody's somebody. And
Yes.
that's something they taught me, and it's come in good stead for me. Everybody's somebody. And I'm thankful that I have the time and have to do and be the mayor I wanted to be, and the mayor that I think this city needs to have right now in Grand Prairie.
Yes, and we are so blessed because you all both serve with excellence and with a passion and love for our city and our citizens. And I am very proud to say that you're my friends, you're my co-workers, and that we can live and love life grand together here in Grand Prairie. What a great year and a great show. Thank you all, and God bless you.
Thank you, ma'am.
And thank you all for joining us today. It's been a great show. I'm Georgia Clemson, and I hope you've enjoyed the 2023 State of the City Show.